Hey Planty people! A lot of people get intimidated by repotting, but it's actually really easy. When I worked at Crest, I would always send people to YouTube to watch repotting videos, and now here I am on YouTube with one of my own. So let's talk about how to repot, when to repot, and why. If you've just bought new plants, I recommend letting them sit in their nursery pots for a little while to get used to their new environment. The light and humidity in your home will be a lot different than it was at a plant store or a greenhouse, and repotting is a little stressful for plants. Give them a little adjustment period, and when they're ready, then you can repot. So the answer to when do I repot is after a week or two. Maybe even wait until you see new growth, and then you'll know they've adjusted to their new home. Now, on to the how to repot. We're gonna make a mess here, so I use a shower curtain to keep from getting soil everywhere. But if your space is limited, a pizza box is a great tool. The fold in the middle is perfect for dumping the excess soil when you're done. And thank you to Rome to Brooklyn for giving us a pizza box. First and foremost, you need to choose the right pot size. Too large and the soil will hold too much water, which can cause root rot. Too small and the roots won't even have room to grow. So get one that's between 1 and 4 inches larger than the pot it came in. If it's in a 4-inch pot, you can put it in a 6. But if you've got a big old monstera outgrowing a 12-inch pot, it can't hurt to move it to a 16-inch. Now you need to choose or make the right soil mix. This is an Eschenanthus or lipstick plant, isn't it pretty? Which is an epiphyte. They attach themselves to the trunks of trees, and if you watched my soil video, you'll know that epiphytes and aroids love a chunky mix. So I've got Fox Farm soil here. It's already pretty well aerated, but I'm going to add some orchid bark to help with drainage. And that'll help the roots breathe. All right, now we do a bit of measuring. Let's see, you want to place the grow pot into the other pot and see how much soil you want to put in the bottom to make it end up an inch or two from the top. You want to leave room for the water to pool at the top of the pot. Otherwise, it'll just overrun the edge and it'll never get watered. Just need a little bit in there. Now, to remove the plant, you want to squeeze the grow pot all around to loosen up the soil. It's good to leave about 1/3 of the old soil on the plant. That way they don't get quite as stressed out. You can loosen up the roots a bit, but it's not really necessary to get all the soil off or to completely tease out the soil. They kind of figure out where to go on their own. Put a layer of soil down to where you measured, and then plop the plant in. And then you can either remove or add a little bit more soil to make it just right, just about an inch from the top. And then we're just gonna add some soil around the sides. Pack it down, make it sure it's standing up straight. Right, and boom, your plant is potted. See how easy that is? Yeah, okay, not all plants are that easy. If you have a string of pearls or a burro's tail or a big old pothos, it's gonna take more care and effort, and you will lose leaves, especially with a burro's tail. Just accept it. I usually just sort of swirl the stems around the top of the nursery pot and then flip the whole thing over, take off some of the soil, and plop it in. The hard part is filling in the sides when you have a plant that drapes. Your hands or even a spoon will work better than a trowel with these plants. Just make sure there are no air pockets because they can fill up with water and cause root rot. A little tap, tap, tap on the table will bring the soil down and show you where you need to add more. You can use your fingers or a little blunt stake to pack it in. It's a great thing to have, a little blunt stake. If you're potting a very large plant, which I don't have room for and therefore can't demonstrate, rather than squeezing the sides of the pot, I like to give it a slap on the sides. Bap! And then rotate it 90 degrees and bap! Slap it again. That's usually enough to loosen up the soil to get it out, but I've also had to cut nursery pots off of large plants, so keep those pruners handy, just in case. But then the next question is when to repot a plant that you've had for a while. Is your plant outgrowing the container? Do you see roots growing out of the drainage holes or twining around the top of the pot? Is the new growth looking pinched? Then you want to pull out the whole plant and see if it's root bound. If you see more roots than soil, it's time for a bigger pot. If your plant is stuck in a ceramic or terracotta pot, you can run a butter knife around the sides and it should slide right out, especially if you push up from the drainage hole. Another reason to repot is soil depletion. As we talked about in the fertilizing video, most commercial potting mixes include nutrients, but between the water flowing through and the plant taking up the nutrients, it can become depleted after a few years. The organic materials can also break down over time, and that leaves you with a nearly inorganic substrate. Soil can even become hydrophobic over time and won't absorb water anymore. Then there's the opposite problem, over-fertilizing. If you fertilize regularly and you're noticing salt buildup around the outside of a terracotta pot or even crystals on the soil or on the plant, it's a good idea to wash the crystals away and put it in some fresh soil. A lot of people like to pot their plants in nursery pots that sit in decorative pots without drainage holes. It's a great method, especially if you put them in clear nursery pots so you can see what the roots are up to. If you choose this method, just make sure that the nursery pot is big enough for the roots to grow and that you let the plant drain before putting it back in the decorative pot. Nobody likes wet feet. The chances of killing a plant by repotting are very slim. As long as you're gentle and don't rip the whole top of the plant off, you should be fine. Some plants would even be okay with that. So if you break a few stems and leaves, don't worry about it. Plants are resilient. They'll just make more. So go ahead and pot that plant. You've got this. I believe in you. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified when I release a new video. You can also find me on Instagram at planty.jen, where I share photos and tips as well. If you'd like to learn more about me, please visit my website at plantyjenstinylandscapes.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Time for that theme song.
If your plants look sad and you lost all hope, tried everything, you're at the end of your rope. Should you throw them out into the street? Nope, just ask Planty Jen. If you want to be a planty acolyte, learn the tips and tricks to keep them growing right. Water, fertilizer, and the right amount of light, just ask Planty Jen.